One, go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June meeting of the Town of Brighton Planning Board. My name is Bill Price. I am the chairman of the board. I would like to introduce the remaining members of our board that are online tonight. Laura Civiletti, David Fader, John Osowski, Jason Babcock Steiner, Pam Delaney, and James Wentworth will be joining us shortly. Our planning board secretary is Ramsey Boehner. Helping us tonight with the IT is Jeremy Lutz. Eric Frisch from the town is going to be helping us with the applications and posting the plans so that we can discuss them with the applicants and then questions can be asked. Tonight's meeting is being recorded. We did accept comments on applications up till today. So if some comments were received, we will be reading through those comments and asking applicants any questions regarding anything someone posted prior to today or up to today. This is a public hearing. I will call the applications one at a time. We do have applications dating back to our March meeting. This is the first meeting of the board since we met in February. So we know there's a backlog and we want to get through all of these tonight and hopefully keep people moving with their projects. Everybody is at this time muted. When it is your turn to speak relative to an application, if you are the applicant or the applicant's agent, you will be allowed into the meeting to speak to the plans that Jeff will be posting. Once you have presented your application and some of the details, then the board members will have a chance to ask questions of the applicant. And once we have asked our questions, the same as a live planning board meeting, we will open the floor to the public for questions. You do have a function that allows you to raise your hand. And at that point, we will be letting you in to ask questions. Please remember you're asking the questions of the planning board, and we will either answer the questions ourselves or ask the applicant to respond to your question. We have a total of 8 applications tonight with, I believe, 3 or 4 sign applications that we will take care of after the public hearings. Once we close the public hearing and have heard all of the applications, we will stay around to deliberate as a board and make our decision on each of the applications. I will ask our secretary, Ramsey Boehner, at this point, if the applications for tonight were properly advertised prior to this meeting.
Yes, they were properly advertised in the Brighton Pittsburgh Post of June 11th, 2020. Also, Chairperson, I'd like to also mention that the applications subject to the public hearings tonight are also available for review on the town's website, which is townofbrighton.org.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we are going to start with our first application, which is
Do
one.
I do roll call, Bill?
I'm sorry. I did introduce folks, but let's do a roll call for the record.
Yes. Member Osowski,
Here.
Babcock Steiner,
Here.
Delaney,
Here.
Civiletti,
Here.
Fader,
Here.
Price,
Here.
Wentworth. He's there.
He's there. Raise his
I thought I
hand.
saw him. Let's see.
Ramsey, can you have the note that I'm here too?
He raised his hand. Yes, they also for the record, David Dollinger is here, Deputy Attorney for the town. For the record, Jeremy, we are recording this. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
I don't know what's going on with James. Let me try
He's
to.
back.
unmute him.
Should be in now.
He's still showing as muted.
Can you see me?
I can hear you now. We can see you now.
I see you.
Okay, James. James Wentworth, are you here? We lost him again.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All present.
All right, thank you. All right, our first application tonight is 1P0220. This is the application of Nicholas Lombardo for a site plan modification to revise the location of a new house at Clover and Greenway Roads, Clover Street and Greenway Road. Is there anyone here to represent the applicant? Please raise your hand. Jeff, if you could bring up the site plan for this, please. Jeremy, do you see anybody raising their hand to speak on behalf of this application?
And one moment, please.
Yeah.
I do not.
There's somebody
I
waving.
thought I saw the applicant earlier on.
Under the VZW, he's on screen now.
He's waving his hand. He's got a baseball hat on.
Hey, hi, sorry, we were muted, but our engineer, I believe, is on this Zoom chat. I see his name, but I don't know if he's can get into speak or not.
It's Greg McMahon. I will unmute him.
Okay, thank you.
Greg, you there? Greg, you there?
I don't know if he knows to unmute.
There you go.
Good try.
Greg, you appear to be muted. Okay,
Can you hear me now?
now we can hear you.
There you are, Greg.
All right. Yeah. More technology than I'm used to here.
We'll get through it together.
We'll be
Okay.
patient.
I can speak to this application if you'd like me to go ahead.
Please go ahead.
We were in before the planning board in January, received preliminary approval for a relocation of the house. We then went to the zoning board of appeals for a setback variance in February and were granted that setback variance. And we were scheduled before you in March of this year for final approval. So we're just back here tonight seeking final approval. We have the variance we needed, and you did review this as part of your preliminary approval back in January.
Thank you, Greg. Greg, please remind us, was there any other approvals that you were secured in this removal of trees in the right of way, or you're all square with every other board?
Well, I believe we're either square or it's in the process that it required a town board approval for the removal of just a couple trees in the right of way of the extension of Clover Street. And I know the applicant was working through that with Mike Guyon and the town to secure that approval.
Okay, Ramsey, can you speak to that at all?
Yes, they have gone and held the public hearing. There is an appraisal that was done for the trees, and that has been done and submitted to the applicant. So that is satisfied. at this point, just need to make the payment for the trees that are coming down.
Okay.
Greg,
Right.
the house was reviewed by the Architecture Review Board. Is that right?
Yes, it was. And I believe received all the necessary approvals.
And you got your zoning variance?
Yes,
and-
we did.
Okay, so yes, we have seen this. You do have your variance. I don't believe I have any further questions. Are there questions from board members?
I'm all set.
James, I see you're all set.
I have no
Um,
questions.
John Osowski,
I'm all set.
Pam Delaney, okay. Thank you. David Fader,
Questions?
okay. All right. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
At this time, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the attendance here that wishes to ask any questions or have comment about this application?
Raise your hand.
Please raise your hand. Jeremy, do you see anybody?
I'm not seeing anyone.
Do not.
Okay. Jeremy, has everybody been let into the meeting? I saw there was a couple others in waiting room.
Yes, everyone's in now.
Thank you. Okay, one last call for questions. Okay, thank you. We will take questions if you, for some reason, can't figure out how to find the raise hand function and you find it later. We will understand. But at this point, we will move on to application 2P0220. This is the Country Club of Rochester. This is for the construction of a maintenance facility on the east side, I'm sorry, on the west side of their property. Okay, the plans are up. Briefly, the location of this is between East Avenue and Elmwood. And the country club itself, the buildings are to the right of the screen. This is the location where a maintenance facility currently exists. And the proposal is to remove the existing facility and build a new facility. I will let the applicant explain this in further detail. It appears we have Andrew's iPad.
Got him unmuted. I'm just trying to get the video going for him. There he is, somewhere.
I don't know if you can see me or not, but
Yes, we can.
that's not fair. I can't see myself. I don't know how my hair looks right now, so I
I
apologize.
see you have a beard now, Andrew. So.
I do. It's been a long 3 months in my basement. So thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Spencer with DME Associates. We did appear before the planning board in January to introduce this project, and then again in February to review it again. And the main change that we have made to the proposal is the Country Club of Rochester has removed the 44 space parking lot, which was further east and north. That's correct. Thank you very much. In that area, based upon critique from the town as well as resident concerns. So there will be no activity in that area other than the typical golf course activity of maintenance of the ground. We did appear before the Zoning Board of Appeals and were granted a variance for the setback of the proposed 8,500 square foot structure from the western property line. We also appeared before the Architectural Review Board and received approval for the building architecture. Also appeared in front of the Conservation Board, which I'm sure this board seen the comments mostly concerned about the parking area, which is now off of the table. We did provide the town a letter of responses from the comments we received. And also provided an updated engineer's narrative for town review. But at this point, what we are looking for from the board is preliminary and final site plan approval for this project so that the Country Club of Rochester can move forward and construct this facility. We do know that we also need a demolition permit from the planning board, and we are requesting a demolition permit as well this evening. I believe that's
Andrew?
all I have, Bill, at this point. If you have some questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer.
I think, Jeff, do we have any of the architectural elevations of this?
No, I don't think we do, Bill.
No, okay. But you
Yep.
say ARB did review and approve the same that we saw?
It was approved by ARB.
Yes. Basically, it's a hardy plank siding material on the building with a metal roof structure. I don't know, Jeff, do you have? Jeff can probably pull that information up.
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
And it was that was the February 25th meeting agenda that we reviewed that information.
Thank you.
And Bill, to your question, I believe it is the same building that you had seen in the February planning board meeting.
Okay. All right, so variance secured, no real changes to the size of the building, orientation, any of the configuration, that's all the same that we saw in
No,
February.
that is correct. The orientation has remained the same. That is correct. No size differential. Everything has remained consistent.
All right.
Andy, are you guys proposing to install a fire sprinkler system?
We will either install a sprinkler system and or request a variance from the ZBA that has not been finalized and determined, but we will comply with the town as well as the New York State Fire Code for the structure.
And have you done a pre-demolition asbestos survey?
I did check in on that with the Country Club of Rochester. I apologize not getting back to you sooner. Did find out this afternoon that we do not have a formalized report. What we realized, we need to provide one prior to getting the permit for the demolition through the town. So we will be providing that information.
Okay, this is the architecture proposed. I just wanted to call this up, and this is what has received approval from the ARB.
That is correct.
Okay,
Thanks,
All right.
Jeff.
thank you, Jeff. All right, let me open up the questions from the board. Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, this is John. I have a question. Because I noticed in the material that was submitted previously, it did say that they'd be requesting a variance from putting in a fire protection sprinkler system. And I would just, after what happened to the town of Arundecoit's DPW garage, you may want to think twice about not installing fire protection sprinklers. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Okay. Others? James, Pam?
I have no questions.
Please go ahead.
I have no questions.
Oh, have no questions. All right.
I'm all set.
Laura,
I'm set also, thank you.
Jason,
I'm good.
David Fader? Guess he's all good. All right. Who
I'm
am I
good.
leaving
I'm
out?
sorry, I had trouble unmuting.
Okay. All right. Andrew, anything else? We're all set?
Yeah, I don't believe I have anything further than the information I provided thus far. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone that cares to comment or ask questions about this application? Give Jeremy a few seconds here to see if there's any questions.
Don't see any.
I don't see any either. Give it a few more seconds, Bill.
Yep,
'Cause sometimes it takes people a little bit.
yep. Still nothing?
I'm not seeing anything.
All right. All right, let's move on. The next application is 3P01-20. This is Winton Place LLC. And please remind me, Ramsey, the formal name of this application.
It's the application of Witten Place LLC owner and Brian Root, the Leap and Laugh, who's the leasee for a conditional use permit approval to allow a children's indoor entertainment and recreational facility on property located at 3450 Witten Place.
Thank you.
I did not see this applicant on the list. We did outreach to him a number of times.
Okay,
Give it a few minutes and
Give
maybe
it
at the end of the night, if we don't get someone now, we can recall it.
okay. If you do see someone enter from this application, let us know, please. All right. At this point, let's move on. You still don't see anybody?
No, no one's raising their hand and
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next application, which is 3P02-20. This is the application of David Hauer, F&H Development, as owner for preliminary and final site plan approval, conditional use permit approval to construct a 720 square foot addition.
no, I think, Bill, we're on
Oh,
3P02.
I'm sorry, I went too far.
Yeah, you called the right number, just read the wrong case.
Wrong one,
Yeah.
okay.
Application of Witten Place LLC owner.
Yeah, and OFC
OFC
Creation.
Theater. I'll let you go, Bill.
Okay, thank you. This is for conditional use permit approval to allow a live performance theater, classes, reception, rehearsals, and shows at property located at 3450 Winton Place. This is in Winton Plaza. Is there anyone representing the applicant here?
If someone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, my name is David Hauer. And also Eric from Marathon Engineering should be on with us.
Okay.
Wait. No, I think it's Eric Johnson.
Yes.
Okay.
Eric, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
You got the right application.
Sorry.
Yes, and
Realigning.
Eric Johnson is this application. Eric, if you want to make a brief presentation.
Sure. Again, my name is Eric Johnson. I'm the Executive Director of OFC Creations. I'm also a resident of the town of Brighton at 48 Orchard Drive. We're OFC Creationist Theater Center, and we're applying to open a performing arts venue and education center in the pre-existing space at Winton Place Plaza. We were founded in 2005 as a resource for artists and kids to explore performing arts, camps, classes, anything theater related. The proposed theater center is a multi-purpose community resource focused on housing educational arts experiencing, mounting local productions and events, as well as bringing in out-of-town artists. We're going to be offering acting, singing, and dance classes to kids as young as 4 up to ages of 18. As well as school break programs, summer camps, and receptions and community events. The busiest time of the year for us is definitely summer camps, and that's why we're excited about presenting tonight, hopefully being open for the summer for our kids in July and August. over the 7 weeks in summer, we'll have 5 employees in the office teaching artists, as well as interns, high school and college age, teaching these kids performing arts. The theater center the biggest change we're making to the space is installing these theater seats that you'll see in the drawing. There's 252 brand new fixed theater seats from an outside company. They recently remodeled Blackfriars Theater downtown. So these will be all fixed to the floor. And then we'll also have 6 accessible seats for those in wheelchairs. We assume that there'll be about an additional space for about 60 people in the lobby. So maximum capacity with the lobby being full as well as the theater being full would be about 318 on premises if we were completely full. Our office hours is 10 a.m. till 2 o'clock. And we have after school classes and programs that take place right after school about 2:30 until 10 o'clock at night and on weekends as well. We offer additional homeschool, senior citizen, before school and after school programs. Those take place sporadically throughout the day. Most performances take place Thursday through Sunday, occasional performances on the weekdays for school tours, field trips, etc. And then we will have concessions and alcohol sold at performances through our catering partner. There are 700 parking spots, about 200 close to the venue for our customers, patrons, and people attending classes. And then all deliveries will be taking place behind the building during our normal earlier office hours. And then we don't plan to have any unusual solid or liquid waste. And there won't be any promotion on the street besides our sign that we already had conditionally approved by the architect board.
Okay. That it, Eric?
That is it.
Thank you very much. Eric, could I just ask you to go back to your hours of operation? I started jotting down, it said 10 to 2. Is that week during the weekdays?
Correct. So we have box office hours typical around Rochester is 10 a.m. until 2 o'clock. That's for people to purchase tickets or come in and get information. And then our programming where we offer classes and we offer performances would be after 2 o'clock into the evening hours.
Okay. And
The latest that you're open, Eric?
Say that again?
The latest hours that you would be operating?
The latest would be 10 o'clock.
okay. And
Now,
I,
how will the concession lounge be operated?
So it's a pre-existing bar you'll see in the architect drawing. We've worked with a catering partner while we've been running programs the last several years at the Kodak Center. They are a licensed caterer that used to own a bar in Victor. They will be coming on board. You know, we're not in the business of, running a bar ourselves. So they will be our partner in this, and they will be handling staffing, the permits, everything, surrounding those sales.
there any improvements to the front of the building at all? Or is it just the signage?
Just the sign.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Eric?
Eric answered most of my questions in his presentation.
I'm all set.
I have a concern, Ramsey, not with the conditional use permit, but in terms of plan review. I'm assuming it's going through plan review for you. You'll have to work with them on ADA accessibility. The 2 wheelchair spaces in the front are not on an accessible route, and the 3 in the back maybe, but they're drawn overlapping the chairs in front of them. Just something for you to work on with them.
Yeah, they are just applied for their building permit, and we will be reviewing the plans.
Also,
I will
our
point it out to the architect.
our
I'm
architect
sure
is
Eric
on-
will talk to his architect too.
yeah, and our architect is on the call too if we need to have him speak.
All right. Ramsey, you're all set?
Yeah.
Board members?
I'm good.
I'm all set.
Also,
All set.
Good.
Thank you. Eric, anything else?
No.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that cares to address this application? Jeremy, you see anybody?
I do not.
I'm not seeing anyone either.
Okay, again, if anybody cares to address this in the future and you figure out how to raise your hand on this thing, then we'll entertain your questions or comments. All right, I guess now we will go to, thank you very much, Eric. We'll now go to 3PO 3-20. This is David Hauer. And David, let me get to your narrative here. I think I've overshot it again. Yes, I did. Okay, David Hauer, FH Development, preliminary and final site plan, approval and conditional use permit to construct a 720 square foot addition to property at 1338 Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. The application plans are up. Is David, I know you started before, so you're probably here.
I muted someone who raised their hand.
That's me, Chris Kowalski, from the Downstairs Cabaret Theater regarding OFC.
Ah,
I was
please.
trying to get to it, and nobody explained how to get to the raise the hand, so I got to it as quick as I could.
Okay, all right, so this is still for everyone's information, this is a question about the last application. Please go ahead, Chris.
Chris Kowalski, Downstairs Cabaret Theater, since 1992. I do have concerns, and I want to express concerns and extreme reservations with OFC moving into Witten Plaza. Personally, we have experienced unscrupulous actions causing great harm to the Downstairs Cabaret Theater. DCT was misled by Eric and OFC, and promises were made but not honored. Eric took action behind DCT's back that has caused irreparable damage to DCT, even though he promised not to do anything to hurt DCT. I have a file full of correspondence I'd be happy to share. There was the fact that OFC had submitted an application to Brighton with our staging and platforming before even agreeing to purchasing it through the Downstairs Cabaret. There was a lot of assumptions made that weren't true. There are concerns as to how this will reflect on DCT for his operation. There is a concern as OFC seems to represent themselves as sort of a nonprofit, but they are not. They ask and use the word donations frequently, but it's leading the public to think that it is a nonprofit, and it should be of concern because there's no volunteer board of directors as there is for a typical nonprofit organization. So there's no one for Eric to report to in concern of general public concerns. He'll make decisions and take action in his own best interest, as we've seen, not necessarily in the public interest. I encourage the board to further investigate OFC in the labor practices as employees versus independent contractors, minimum wage issues, dealings with RAPA, which has had a devastating effect on RAPA, and now DCT. The board should explore the content of the sexually oriented shows that might or may not be appropriate for Brighton audiences. And theaters of special non-conditional or need conditional approval for special permitted use. We would certainly raise a red flag. OFC has already announced that this is happening even before planning board approval. DCT applied as a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and in my years since managing theater since 1981, I haven't seen a situation like this, and would throw caution to everyone involved, not in the public interest to approve OFC into Whitney Plaza. Regarding some of the specific building things, if the capacity is 318, the air system won't pass the capacity. And if the stage is expanded the way it is in the drawings, then I think you also need to sprinkle underneath the stage, because I think we were at the maximum square footage when we were there, and this is expanding it further. And of course, there's the idea of a latest hour of 10 o'clock. If there's an 8 o'clock show, it's gonna, the hours are gonna go past 10 p.m. So that makes no sense. So those are my comments, but I'd like you to certainly be aware of the concerns that the downstairs cabaret has in the way this was handled, and I'm happy to provide further information to any and all folks, and you will see more about this publicly at a later time anyway, but I'm happy to share to anyone information and correspondence as requested. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Thank you, Chris. Is David Dollinger on? Are you available, David?
Yes.
David, I don't know. A lot of the points that Chris has brought up are something, it sounds like there's some type of relationship there, but I'm not sure what is the concern of the board about that relationship or any interaction between the two organizations?
I don't know how relevant that is at this point. I think that the couple of comments regarding the space are relevant, but the obviously there's some issue and animosity or something, but I'm not sure that's relevant to. Yeah.
But as far as pulling a building permit, do they have to show a lease? How do we know they have control over the space?
Yeah, I don't know about how Ramsey does it as a practical matter, but yes, you have to be the tenant. Yeah.
And the property owner is notified that an application has been made for this evening's hearing.
Okay.
And we've heard no comment back from them saying that they should be making the application.
All right.
You have the lease if you need me to forward it to anybody.
All right. There was only one other comment there that I would like to ask Eric to address. What was the context of the comment about sexually explicit or sexually implied performances?
So probably 80% of our shows are educational based for kids, again, ages 4 to 18. We have in the past run a series of entertainers from out of town. Some of them may have some swear words, but there's never been any nudity. We don't do any shows with nudity. These may just be more of an adult audience, a cabaret show that you may see on like a cruise line. But this is nothing that's outside the realm of what other theaters present in the area.
Okay. David Dollinger, to what extent does the content of their performances affect our decision?
I guess I think, and Ramsey can opine on this too. I mean, I think only to the extent that it confronts the use question. You know what I mean? I mean,
also an adult use ordinance in Brighton that you have to comply with.
What's that?
There's also an adult use ordinance that would have to be complied with.
Right, and that's what I mean. It really goes to use. It's like having live music. I mean, you can't squelch that, but it brings in a whole bunch of, you can only do it in certain areas, that kind of thing. So I think that kind of question is only effective and only relevant to the extent of it actually to the point where it changes the use, becomes a different use.
I see. Okay. All right. Did the comments from Chris raise any questions from the rest of the board?
I just have a couple questions. So is this organization, where is OFC based?
So we've been based out of the Kodak Center on West Ridge Road, as well as the Lyric Theater on East Avenue. We run a pretty large summer camp program each year out of those locations. We also teach in many schools across the area where we go in and run their drama programs for their kids.
Is this a strictly local organization?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other board members?
I'm good.
I have one more question. Have there been any complaints about propriety of the shows that have put on, anything like that?
No, we, again, a majority of our shows are Disney titles, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, shows that we license through Disney or other areas to do, or we book directly with the artist. Again, from like a cruise line, we contact their manager and they come and perform for us.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I guess Ramsey, should I ask if there are any further comments on this application?
Yes.
Okay. This
I'm
is,
not seeing any more. Marathon Engineering is for the next application.
okay. All right, let's move on to 3PO 320. This is David Hauer of F&H Development.
Good evening. This is Eric Schaff, Marathon Engineering. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
All right, and I believe Dave Hauer is on the line. He's the applicant. We are here tonight requesting, first of all, let me say thank you. It's good to be back before the planning board, even if it is a Zoom meeting. Do appreciate the fact that it's your first time, and so far it's been going relatively smoothly. So it's something new. It's something new for all of us. I will say off the record, the biggest problem for us as a presenter is it's impossible to read the room. Not that I was at it. I can't do it at all here. Anyways, we're here requesting preliminary and final site plan and conditional use permit approval. We understand tonight will be a discussion and the planning board is going to defer action until after the zoning board of appeals has met and discussed whether to grant us the 2 variances that we require. F&H Development has an existing revocable temporary use permit to operate their business in an accessory building at 1338 Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. That is a 1.5 more or less acre parcel located on the north side of Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road, about a half mile west of West Henrietta Road. Property is zoned IG light industrial. F&H had a couple of key objectives for this project: improves the aesthetics of the site, provide some delineation of the storage area, and improve the efficiency and effectiveness of their overall operation. What they're proposing to do is to construct an addition to their existing building, reconfigure the existing parking facility. The parking facility is sized to accommodate the tenants of the principal structure. They are occupied now, as well as the owners of F&H Development. By the way, their business is model. They do not receive visitors. So we have a very small parking area that meets the needs of the tenant as well as the business. A 6-foot high solid fence will encompass the building, garage, and outdoor storage yard. Landscaping is being provided along the Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road side of the fence, as well as on the road side of the parking area. No new utility work is being proposed. We will require a conditional use permit for construction / contractor facility and outdoor storage. and we are also requesting that along with site plan approval. The equipment is to be stored within the proposed storage yard, and in the letter of intent, we identified what that was. If you'd like, I can read that equipment list, but it was provided. It's typical construction equipment. We have made application to the Zoning Board of Appeals for 2 variances that we will require. One is to allow an outdoor storage in what is defined to be the side yard there to the west, and to allow a building side setback of 48 feet versus 50 feet. We are on the agenda for July 1st. Not quite sure yet whether it'll be Zoom or live, but my understanding is we're on the agenda. We respectfully request that you give us a quote unquote positive referral to the zoning board, and be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Could you just define for us a little bit what some of the materials of the pavement are going to be? Are you looking at asphalt in the new parking area and gravel in the back, kind of behind the fence? Just kind of explain the pavement for me and a little bit about drainage and stormwater.
Sure. Let me start with the stormwater. We are under the thresholds for both the town of Brighton and the state threshold for area of disturbance.
Okay.
So we do not have to do that. We're adding about 5,900 more or less square feet, which is only a 2% increase in impervious area. The runoff is going to be directed by sheet flow to a 100-foot buffer, which acts as a riparian buffer. That, and given the previous developed nature of the site, we don't have to do any special mitigation or any of that. In terms of the parking, let's see here. It's going to be 12 inches of number 1, and number 2 crushed stone is the outdoor storage yard. So it's a stone storage yard. Obviously, the parking facility will be asphalt.
Okay. And probably building downspouts will just go to a splash block?
I believe so. I couldn't say for sure. We can certainly check on that and confirm that at our next meeting.
Okay. All right. And it's the fence that's drawn is all new. There's some existing, but you're going with new fence?
Right. That fence is not in the correct location. And since we've had to install the whole mount, we're just going to install new as outlined here. It completely encompasses the entire area. It does meet one of the objectives by creating a clear delineation. Truth be told, the current operation is not neat and tidy. This will provide a clearly defined area for the storage yard, and will help clean that up a little bit. It also provides a separation between that operation and quote unquote the front yard. That's also why we're proposing the landscaping. Even though this is a industrial area of Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road, we still want to make it look reasonable. And so we added the landscaping there as a screen in front of that fence, as well as in front of the parking facility. We've also buffered on the side, the east side, even though that's a vacant parcel. It's we wanted to be respectful, and so we buffered that side of the parking facility as well.
All right, thank you. No outdoor lighting is proposed on pole mount, no pole mounted lighting. It appears to be a couple of wall packs.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Ramsey, I'd like to note that we should make I just want to check on those wall packs and just make sure there's cutoff and we don't have glare from those.
Yeah, that was the question I have is, are the fixtures LED, dark sky compliant, and are they no more than 3000 K?
I don't have that answer. Oh, wait a minute. It's on page 2. It is an LED light. And we'd have to confirm the exact, it's a general cut sheet. for the LED lights. It comes in different sizes. We can confirm the exact illumination for that one for you, Ramsey. But there it is on the lower right of that sheet. It is LED.
Okay, that does look like it has cut off.
It does. It looks like it.
Yeah.
Right.
The question is the color temperature. And if I think I read it right, I think you can maybe get 3,000. Okay.
It appears, according to the cut sheet, you can. What I don't know is what they've specified. I just wasn't involved in that particular discussion. Dave, I believe you're on the line. You may know that, or you may agree to that if that's going to be one of the requirements. Dave Howard, are you there? He was earlier. Whoops, he sent me some messages here. Hold on. He is locked out on video and voice. He says yes to lighting. He's texting me. But maybe you can unmute him if you need to hear from the applicant. He is in, he's just been muted.
Okay.
What's his name? I'm sorry.
Well, it's Dave Howard. I don't know what it may be showing on the screen. I thought at one point it was an iPhone 2 or something, but.
Okay.
iPhone 2?
iPhone 2 is his screen name.
Hello?
Is that you, Dave?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Dave Howard, how we doing?
Hi, Eric.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to all tonight.
We're just wondering on the, we like to have a maximum, we call it temperature on the lighting of 3,000.
Yes, 3,000 K. Yes, Eric was correct on the lighting. 3,000 K on the lighting, and it was was diffused. There's a reflector on that, so it's a direct downward lighting. So there's no glare to any surrounding area, just the door itself in the entry area.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like there's good cutoff on it, and we can keep it to the 3,000. That's our
Yes.
preferred temperature on those.
Yes, that's what they're at.
Will the fence be a solid screen, solid fencing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you guys proposing to install a fire sprinkler system?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Ramsey.
Are you proposing to install a fire sprinkler system?
I met personally with the fire marshal prior to all this and prior to the COVID. I met with Chris Roth personally at the town hall. And due to the size of that, he stated that we did not need a sprinkler system, but I told him that we do have a security system with a fire alarm system within the security system. He said fine to that, and he also instructed us to have fire extinguishers and illuminated exit signs with wall packs at the two doors.
Will any maintenance of equipment be done on site?
If it's all our small, all the trucks get maintained at Rochester across the road from us. Any small stuff like hand tools and small application equipment we would do on site, but nothing big, no.
How is the wetlands going to be protected during construction? It
There's
looks like
gonna be a-
the improvements are going right up to the wetland.
There's going to be a silt fence installed on the site during construction of that.
You need to be very careful because you're going within 5 feet of that buffer area.
I will personally be doing the work, Ramsey, so that I'll be personally there every day. So that way we do not have any issues.
And will this building have any sanitary sewer connection?
No, none of that.
Because it's not a manned facility and you don't have visitors?
No.
I don't have any other questions, Bill.
All right. Other board members?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
James, John,
I'm good.
okay, Jason, thank you. David Fader, Pam,
I'm all set.
right. All right. Thank you, guys. Let me put it out to the audience now. Is there anyone that cares to address this application?
Please raise your hand.
Please raise, yes, please raise your hand. Jeremy, are you with us? Can you just
I don't
remind
see
folks
anyone.
where they might find the raise hand function?
If you're on a computer, you can find it under the participants list. It'll show an option under more to raise your hand there, and then it'll show up in participants list with a little image of a blue hand. If you need information on how to do it on any other platform, we have some information on the town webpage under the live streaming link that'll tell you how to do all of that.
And that's if you're on iPads, iPhones, different kinds of devices, or coming in through
Correct.
different platforms. Okay. David, Eric, thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you everyone for tonight. Thank you very much.
All right. Let's move on then to our next application, which is application 4PO 120. This is the application of Courtney Hopkins, owner, for preliminary and final site plan approval to construct a 2,500 square foot single family home with a 780 square foot attached garage on property located at 11 Babcock Drive. Is Courtney here? Anybody representing Courtney?
Yes, this is Ed Martin from Land Tech here tonight representing Courtney Hopkin and her application before you. It's a rather straightforward one. It's a 0.4 of an acre parcel located at 11 Babcock Drive. The home to be constructed is very typical for the area, well within code for both setbacks and size. Existing utilities are available for us along the Babcock Drive frontage, which is public sewer and public water. Proposed drainage patterns will follow existing drainage patterns, which I understand leads to a previously constructed stormwater management system south of our southern adjoiner. I've spoken briefly with your town engineer today, and he seems satisfied with everything. He's going to provide me with some numbers on the stormwater management system that was designed for this, and to make sure that our runoff is below what was assumed in those calculations, and we're both confident that that will be the case. I will note one change from our submission. In our original submission, we called for all 7 on-site trees to remain. Courtney spoke with a tree surgeon, if you will, and the 2 trees closest to the cul-de-sac are to come down as part of this house construction. It's a 36-inch American basswood. Yep, the cursor's on it right there. And also the 12-inch apple tree that's just next to it. Yep. So that leaves 5 on site, and code requires 4. So we're well within code as far as that goes. That's, as I said, it's a very straightforward application, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you would have.
Thank you. Ed, at this point, you're not requiring any variances for this application.
That is correct.
Okay. And have you made application to the ARB?
I understand that Courtney and the builder have made application to them. I don't know if they've attended. Last I knew, they had not attended.
Okay. All right. Can you speak to, did the arborist give you a condition report on those trees as to why it was they needed to come down?
So the apple tree, and I don't know if you have pictures of it, the apple tree is in pretty poor shape, and I'm no tree person, but it's, you can tell it's in poor shape. The basswood, apparently the root system is very extensive, and the arborist was concerned with the impact of the construction of the home on the tree as much as the tree on the home itself, in terms of disrupting that root system and then either harming the tree, which subsequently could fall. And Courtney has at least one young child, I recall. So rather than risk that, they thought they would take it down. It's safest that way.
Jeff, do we have any, are there any elevations of the house or plans of the home? I don't know if those were submitted or not.
They're scanned in air for the ARB. I'll just have to make sure they are.
No, they were in the stuff we got from Ramsey last week.
Okay.
I just wanted to put that up.
Here you go, Bill.
Okay. All right. Front elevation, rear elevations. Could we see the side elevations? Okay, so these are, so the garage doors are away from the existing residence.
That is correct. The garage will be an end load that goes out to the west to the existing private drive that ties into the throat of the cul-de-sac of Babcock Drive.
And all of your stormwater is going to be conveyed to a common location?
It is. We actually have taken the initiative to provide some underground chambers to mitigate a 1/4 inch of runoff with not allowing any infiltration at all. And the soils out there are pretty good. So we'll get a fair amount of infiltration. But as I said, your town engineer and I are going to be talking about the numbers that were assumed for when that offsite stormwater management system was designed, to make sure that our numbers are below that. And I've committed to doing that with him.
Okay. We know about your storm, your sanitary and water are simple services. Are your electric cable all coming in underground, or are they coming in overhead, do you know?
Well, we typically leave that to RG&E, but if the town has a requirement that it's underground, they will be underground.
No, I don't believe we do. Didn't know where they'd be connecting on the house.
So we don't actually do the actual design. We often will show a theoretical, and RG&E usually laughs at us for what we show. But my guess is that they would come off the pole at the southeast corner and tie into the back corner of the home. That would be my guess if it's an overhead wire.
Okay. All right. At this point, is there any type of a landscape plan that's available for this?
Well, because we comply with the town code for trees and landscape, what we've done in the past is not spec one, because as was explained to me, that once you put it on paper, it has to go in exactly that way. And I don't think Courtney wants me designing her landscaping. I think we leave it to her discretion for what she chooses.
Okay. All right. Are there, Ramsey, do you have questions?
No, I do not. My questions have been answered.
Okay. Board members?
I don't.
I'm good.
Also,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Pam and Laura, you guys are good?
Yep, also.
Thank you. James, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Ed. At this point, and Courtney, I did see Courtney. At this point, is there anybody in the audience that cares to address this application? Please raise your hand.
There is one person with their hand raised. Noel Wolf.
Yes.
Hi, thank you. I just had two questions. One, do you know, I haven't looked at the Brighton town planning rules, how far from the property line that the house will be built? We're the neighbors on the other side.
Okay.
On Babcock?
Yeah, on Babcock.
So you're to the,
We're 21.
okay.
The one with the sort of tree overlaps there. Yeah, that's us. From our shared property line, do you know for Brighton Town rules, how far the building has to be off the property line? How far back? Or from us?
Yes, there are side setbacks. Ed, what is that side setback?
The minimum side setback to the east is 19 feet. That's the minimum that we're providing. The minimum code is 18 feet. And to the west, it's 28.5 feet. And if you're wondering why we offset it that way, it's to leave room between the garage and the private drive to allow either car to be parked off the road and most importantly, Courtney's kids to be able to play in that area and not worry about going into the private drive area.
Absolutely. And then my only other question is, I have two small children. None of us around here on the street fence between our houses. And I have an 8-year-old and a 5.5-year-old who, because of Corona, will be home all summer playing in the backyard. I just want to know what kind of safety precautions are going to be taken to, for debris. Do you put up a temporary fence? Like, how do you, I just want to make sure my guys are safe from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say that from a construction standpoint, the trees, and there's quite a few between your house and Courtney's, each of those trees will have a visual barrier, an orange snow fence installed, and that's per the town code. And there's typical safety protocols that all contractors follow, but I think Ramsey's probably in a better position to talk about any code requirements and that sort of thing.
There aren't any real code requirements except for protecting the trees. If they're digging the basement and leaving that hole there, they will need to make sure that that basement is fenced off so people can't walk into it at night. But beyond that, there isn't any real requirements. You may want to talk with the applicant if you're worrying about maybe trying to have some type of construction fencing down that property line while it's being built. That would be between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, normally you'd have kids at camp all day, but times are different now. So, okay. And I guess if everything's approved, how long do we expect construction to last?
So a home like this will usually take between 90 and 150 days. It really depends on the contractor and how complex the home is. I would expect this to be done, if I were to guess, and this is purely a guess because I'm not the contractor, I would say be done in 120 days.
Okay. I think that's all. Anything else?
About parking of trucks on the
Oh yeah, just about there's not a ton of street parking. I mean, it's a sort of strange, everyone has long driveways on this street, so everyone parks in the street. Just about truck parking and things like that. Has any consideration been given to that?
So during construction, there's an existing driveway apron that's out there off of the private drive. That's going to be used both for vehicle access to the site and material staging and that sort of thing. So the vast majority of work is actually going to be coming off of that private drive. I don't think you'll be seeing a lot of traffic in front of Babcock. That's not to say that you might not have a truck parked out there for a while, on various days, but the majority of work will come in off of the private drive.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, mostly safety is our number one concern. Obviously, there's a lot of kids on this street. A lot of kids ride their bikes around the cul-de-sac. And so I just had an arborist out looking at my trees today. So, and certainly maintaining protecting the trees and whatnot, because there's some beautiful ones here. So thank you.
Yeah, Brighton is probably the most protective town that I work in as far as trees in terms of what we have to do on plans and what they make the contractor follow through on doing to protect them. So I think you'll be safe there.
You're not gonna circle an archery.
No, well, that front hickory is the oldest tree on the street, and the sycamore there. I just had someone out to look at it today. Now, that tree, some of the overhang goes on to Courtney's property. But the trunk and whatnot, do you have to wrap those trunks as well, the ones on our property, if there's overhang onto her property?
Well, we actually don't wrap the trunk, and that's an interesting thing about what Brighton does. We actually have to go to the drip line, the outer edge of the canopy, and put the fence in there because most trees, the roots at least go out to the drip edge. So by doing that, you protect the tree even more.
Yeah, that's what the arborist said today, because our tree had a low canopy, and he said it'll get better, but it's the drip edge that we have to keep an eye on. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Just to add on that, the fencing would not go on your property. They would protect it on their property,
I see.
but they don't have a right to put fencing on your property.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for answering my questions.
You're welcome.
For participating.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Are there other persons interested in addressing this application? Ramsey, you seen any?
No, the call was the only last one.
Noel?
Noel, I'm sorry. Thank you, Bill. No, I'm not seeing anyone else.
All right, we'll just give it a couple more seconds. All right. Seeing no more, we'll move on. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next application is 4PO220. This is the application of Joe O'Donnell in Greater Living Architecture, Sarah D. Realty as owner for preliminary and final site plan to construct a 310 square foot building addition to property at 885 Winton Road South. Is anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
I see Joe. I think that's maybe their architect.
Joe is an architect. Yep, he's their architect. Put Joe in.
Okay.
Joe.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe O'Donnell from Greater Living Architecture, representing Sarah D. Realty LLC, owner at 885 Winton Road South. We were commissioned to design a small 310 square foot addition on the site. As you can see in the site plan that's up there, it's hatched over in the upper left corner. This addition is designed to add one office and one conference room. And in order to alleviate the use of or the occupancy of two people in one office in the main building, the Finger Lakes Research is a company of 9 employees and 4 patients at a time. They also have 30 spaces in the existing lot, as you see there. They have a shared parking agreement with the neighbor to the south for another 39 spaces. But as I mentioned, with 9 employees and only 4 patients at a time, they are totally underutilizing the parking. This project does not increase impervious surfaces in that where the proposed addition is going is already asphalt paving. And so we're just repurposing a small corner of the building. We did appear to the ARB and got approval with conditions relative to some details of the building, which we've already incorporated into the final drawings. So it seems pretty straightforward, and I'd be more than happy to answer some questions.
Thank you, Joe.
So you're aware that the project needs a density variance and a parking variance?
Yes, I've spoken to Rick. He indicated to go to planning first and then could go to zoning afterwards.
Have you made those applications yet, Joe?
We submitted it. Yes, we did submit all the paperwork for the zoning board application, yeah. But he held it.
So you've applied?
Yes.
I'll double check on that. Maybe we should talk tomorrow. I didn't know that.
Okay. Unless Rick may have just held it. I'd be honest with you, it was one of my staff members who took the paperwork down, whether or not he sent it back waiting for this meeting or he just held it. I will double check tomorrow, Ramsey.
Okay, if you would.
Yep.
Joe, is there any lighting or any exterior significant changes to the building beyond the proposed addition?
No, in fact, if Jeff could call up the building elevations, I assume they're in the application here, but no, there isn't. The only light is for the door going out of the building to maintain the proper exiting. So it'd be a light over the door. I think if he has it, I can show it to you. Might be the one above that. Jeff, the file said plans. I don't know if that's how you have them.
The elevation.
There's the elevation.
Should be in the, there you go. So if you just scroll down, you see just a little bit more, Jeff, you're down in the lower left corner there. You'll see the proposed addition, just infilling that back corner of the building. So there'll be a light outside of door number 1, Bill, to answer your question.
Okay. All right. If that fixture hasn't
And the exterior elevation is going to, we were able to locate the brick of the existing building. So we were able to, it's going to match color. Windows are all going to be identical to what's there. Black anodized frames, clear glass.
Okay. I would just say if you haven't selected the white fixture for over that door, we would just like full cut off, not to exceed 3000 K on the temperature. If you can go a little bit lower, being adjacent to a residential area, 2700 would be appreciated.
Okay, not a problem.
Those look like it's consistent with the building. And your downspouts, your scupper, scuppers coming off of a parapet?
Correct. Basically duplicating exactly what is on that existing exterior wall, where we have a designation of wall type number 3. That exterior wall has the exact same drainage system.
Okay. And those just tie into the subsurface system and go into the
Correct.
down system. Okay.
Yep.
All the questions I have. Ramsey, how are you?
All set, Bill, thank you.
Okay. Board members?
I'm good.
Also,
Is the existing building sprinklered, and will this addition have fire protection sprinklers?
This, the New York State Building Code does not require this building with type of construction to have sprinklers. So it's going to maintain the same level of life safety as the existing building.
Did you evaluate it in relationship to our sprinkler ordinance, the town of Brighton sprinkler ordinance, Joe?
Could you say that again, Ramsey?
Joe, did you do the analysis to our sprinkler ordinance, the town sprinkler ordinance? Would it be required for that?
We did meet with the fire marshal out there and walk the building. But I didn't do the formal analysis, Ramsey. I can do that as part of the building permit.
Okay.
Other questions, John?
No further questions.
Thank you. Pam, are you good? David?
I'm all set.
I'm good.
All right.
Bill, we would be receptive to those items that were brought up as conditions of approval tonight, if that helps keep the project moving.
Okay. All right. Not hearing any other board questions, I'll open it up to the audience and ask if there's anyone that cares to address this application. Jeremy or Ramsey, you seen anybody?
I am not.
I'm not either.
All right. All right, Joe, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Okay. All right, let's continue then. We have our next application, which is 6P01-20. This is an application that I do need to recuse myself. And if you could both mute me and cut off.
okay, so Bill's been muted. This is application 6P0120. Application of the Summit at Brighton owner for site plan modification. Excuse me.
Sorry, Laura, that was me. I was trying to
Excuse me?
turn off Bill.
Okay, back to video. The Summit at Brighton owner for site plan modification to construct an outdoor patio dining area on property located at 2000 Summit Circle Drive. All is described as application and plans on file. Is there someone here to represent this application?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Could you introduce,
Sure.
summarize the application, please?
Sure. My name is Shira Cahill. I'm here from SWBR, and I'm here representing Jewish Senior Life for the Dining and Lifestyle Expansion Project at the Summit. We are requesting preliminary and final approval this evening as well. The location of our project is on the Jewish Senior Life campus off of South Winton Road. The internal address is 2000 Summit Circle Drive. It is northwest of the main Jewish Home Tower and south of Wolf Manor, which is the memory care residence, and it is east of Meridian Center Park. The project is an inwardly focused courtyard. It is not visible from the street or from the adjacent park. The purpose of the project is to provide outdoor amenity space to encourage elders to spend more time outside. Currently, there is not a lot of outdoor program space on the campus. The client came to us because they saw a national and international trend that senior communities are programming more outdoor space. This because research shows that outdoor time is not only beneficial for humans in general, but very much for elders in senior communities. And research has shown that only 20 minutes of outdoor time a day is found to decrease falls, improve sleeping habits, and improve healing times after medical procedures, et cetera. In addition to this, during our design time, in a post-COVID world, we've been listening to a lot of conversations from industry professionals, and I keep hearing a lot now about, what are we going to do? What does senior living look like after COVID-19? And everyone keeps repeating outdoor programming. This because it will be safer for residents, visitors, and staff. The existing conditions on site are a concrete slab, a fenced-in stormwater basin, one door exiting from the lobby, plant beds, and a lawn area. What we are proposing is a new concrete slab to replace the existing with slight profile modifications, a cantilevered composite wood deck to allow residents to access the stormwater basin's edge. We really wanted to see the stormwater basin as an amenity as opposed to a fenced-in utility space, a regraded lawn area that they're going to use for fitness classes, outdoor furniture, 2 shade pergolas with a retractable fabric awning, a fire pit and modest outdoor kitchen, both powered by natural gas, 3 new door locations, all will be replacing current window locations. There is going to be a gutter added that will be tied into the existing storm system. We also have site lighting proposed. It will be 5 new building mounted sconces and the replacement of 4 existing building mounted sconces, in addition to overhead bistro lights, which are dark sky compliant. The bistro lights are 2700K, excuse me, and the sconces are 3000. The lighting will be on during use only, and this courtyard is not adjacent to any residential units. We have also put in an application to the Zoning Board of Appeals for an area variance for one of the pergolas, the pergola with the fabric awning, which is proposed at 400 square feet, larger than the 250 allowable square footage. And we've also put in an application to the Architectural Review Board for the facade modifications. And with that, I will open it up to questions.
Sure. Does this project impact any wetlands?
We got comments back from the county that notified us something that we knew, that we are adjacent to the wetland in Meridian Central Park. However, and saying that what we could do is get a delineation. We do have a current delineation that was done within the last 5 years. It was done in 2017, and it shows that we are well outside of the 100-foot buffer. We're almost 400 feet away from it, and there's a building between where the wetland is and where we are. So we shouldn't be impacting that wetland, but we are adjacent to it. Or the parcel that we're on is adjacent to it. better said.
How will they, what type of provisions will they provide for handling trash, litter?
So all of the serving is going to be on china that's in the kitchen, and everything is going to be cleaned up at the time. So cloth, napkins, china that's existing, nothing will be thrown away, no, one-use plates or anything like that. So it will be at time of dinner, the staff that always serves will be cleaning up afterwards.
And they'll have someone go around checking for litter?
Yep,
I
yep.
imagine?
It will be the same with, as a regular dinner service and lunch service.
What's the actual condition of that stormwater retention?
So right now it's a pond. I spoke with the engineer that worked on the Wolk Manor to see if they could give me a little bit of insight on what was happening there. It is attached to the stormwater basin that's in the front of the building with an equalization pipe. And they said that there's plenty of capacity to handle what we're putting on there. We're only increasing impervious surface by 67 square feet. And he told me that after it goes into the front pond, it drains out into the town system.
So I guess I'm curious, is it open water at this point, or?
Yeah, it always has the same top elevation. It always
How
has
about vegetation, cattails, phragmites,
No.
anything like that?
It's pretty clear of vegetation. Right now it has grass on a slope that goes down to the water's edge. Our proposal puts plantings at the edge and different wetland species, boulders and things like that to make it more aesthetically pleasing and to create more habitat. But right now it's just a grass slope that goes down to the top of water.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any further questions, Laura.
Okay, anyone else? Any other board members? Additional questions?
Are residents allowed to fish in that stormwater pond? And throw the
I don't
fish
think
back?
so.
No,
I don't think
that's
so.
too bad.
I mean, that's a good idea. You know what? It was brought up because we held focus groups with the residents. We had 3 different focus groups where we, talked about the proposal, which is how we ended up with so many shade structures, because people were very concerned about being uncomfortable and the microclimate and wanted to make sure that people had shade. And we did hear that a couple of times, if we could stock it with fish, but no.
Okay.
Not a bad idea for the flies and bugs.
Yeah. Okay, anyone else? All right, hearing no other questions from board members, this is a public hearing. Would anyone else care to address this application?
Not seeing
Any hands on
yet.
this?
No hands yet. Let's give it a few minutes, a few seconds.
Okay.
It's one thing with Zoom, you have to be patient. Gotta slow it down a little bit.
It took me till the end to figure out how to raise my hand. Just in time.
I knew you were there though.
Yeah, I figured I could just try to unmute and wave my hand.
I've done that a few times already. I'm not seeing anyone, Laura.
Okay, hearing none, I guess we'll, that is the last of the public hearings, I believe. So we'll have Bill come back.
I will let him back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shara.
Thank you, Shara.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just trying to get your video back on, Bill.
Here we go.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Laura. All right. That is the last of the public hearings. Has anybody raised their hand for any of the applications?
Bill, could you call the application of Brian Root, which is 1P0120? Is there anyone to represent that application? The application of Winton Place LLC, owner and Brian Root, Leap and Laugh. Anyone? I'm not seeing anyone, Bill.
Okay. All right, and no other hands raised for general comments on any other application?
No.
One hand up right now. She should be unmuted.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi. My name is Treston Engel. I would like to speak on behalf of the OFC Creations
Yes.
hearing. Thank you. OFC Creations, I'm familiar with their previous location at Lyric Theater. And I have watched as a mom of a theater child who actually has cerebral palsy, and I have watched her perform 2 productions with this organization, which educates hundreds and hundreds of kids in theater. And this particular organization has changed my child's life and many other children's lives. And I'm a little bit, very much surprised at Mr. Kowalski, who I've known through the theater world for many years, to speak of OFC Creations the way he did. It's predominantly an educational training institute for children over and above. Of course, anybody could depict a theatrical entity in any sort, Broadway, et cetera, as being sexual. So there might be a show here and there that might tackle a certain issue, but predominantly it is a children's educational institution that we're so excited. We parents who want our children to learn through the arts are going to have this opportunity, and in the safety and the beauty of Brighton. So I just wanted to speak as a parent whose life has been changed by OFC Creations to let you know that this is an incredible group of people who are very dedicated to youth and the arts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for participating. We appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time and negotiating the technology issues, although we all seem to be getting a little better at it. All right.
Thanks for your comments.
Thank you.
Folks, seeing anybody else with their hand up? All right. How's everybody doing? I'm sorry?
So I don't see anyone else.
I don't see anyone.
Jeremy?
Okay.
I don't see anyone either.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody doing okay? We'll just proceed into our deliberations.
All set.
Okay, now let's go back to the beginning. All right, now it's been a while since we've done this. Ramsey did send along the cheat sheet for us on making a motion. Our first application is 1P02-20. This is Nicholas Leonardo. The new house configuration and orientation at Clover and Greenway. Do we have a motion to table, or I'm sorry, not to table, but to close the public hearing?
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on closing the public hearing? All in favor? Aye.
I do roll call.
We got to do the roll call. Sorry.
Right, Member Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Simoletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. So they have received variances. I think there's only a condition relative to payment of a fee based on the assessed values of the trees to be removed. Are we in a position to have someone make a motion on this application?
Oh, sorry, I'm having a hard time locating all my cheat sheets. I will move approval of application 1P0220 based on plans submitted, testimony given. '23 conditions and a determination of non-significance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you.
Was that, James, was that you?
Correct.
Okay.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, there's something in the planning board report about parklands payment.
Yeah.
It's typical of residential units, John, but Ramsey,
Okay.
can you explain it? Ramsey, do you mind just explaining that to John?
Oh, I'm sorry, John. Yeah, it's common in almost all towns that there's a recreational fee that must be paid at the time a building permit issued for a single-family dwelling, townhome, or condo.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, Ramsey, please call the roll on the vote.
Member Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Wentworth,
James, unmute.
is he muted? James?
Frozen.
He was there just a second ago. How about member Osowski?
Aye.
And I'm not sure, well, let me see, I don't know what happened to James. You lost him. Because I show him, he's not muted and his screen's on.
Now he's gone.
There
Oh,
he
there
is. James, you got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Is it or
Okay. Did you get Jason?
Yeah, I did.
Aye.
I was just trying to, Jason,
Aye.
thank you.
James, you froze there. What's your vote? Aye.
Hey, James, if it's I, raise your hand.
aye?
Thank you.
Is that everybody?
Yes, it's everyone, Bill.
All right. All right. Thank you. Let's move on to application 2P02-20, application of CCR for the maintenance building.
I move we close the public hearing.
I'll second that. Moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Please call the roll.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Wasowski.
Aye.
It's approved.
All right. Okay, so variances have been granted. ARB, they did grant the approval for this, right, Ramsey?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, no, it's being reviewed. I'm sorry, Bill.
being reviewed.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it was, ARB was approved.
It was,
Okay,
thank
here's-
you.
Did someone say ARB?
Oh, yes, it was. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a review. It was approved at the February 25th meeting.
Okay, okay.
That was Jeff speaking up because he does the architectural. review.
Thank you, Jeff. All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. We have a motion?
Yes, I move that the planning board adopts a negative declaration prepared by town staff and that we approve the application based on testimony given, plans submitted, and the 24 conditions outlined in the planning board report.
I second.
Jason Babcock Steiner, second.
All right, moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Member Wentworth, It looks like we lost.
Aye.
Oh. Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Simoletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Sowski,
Aye.
approved with conditions.
Very good, thank you. Okay, could we get a motion, please, to table 3PO 1-20 Witten Place LLC?
Table for representation at the next planning board meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Ramsey, please call the roll.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Simoletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Wasowski.
Aye.
Application is tabled for representation at the next planning board meeting.
Thank you. Next application is 3P 02-20. This is OFC Theater Creations Theater. Is there a motion? Oh, well, hang on. Be clear what we're approving here. If you don't mind.
I think you're right, Bill. Let me check. 3P 02.
02. This is for a conditional use permit to allow for the live theater performance, classes, receptions, rehearsals, and shows at 3450 Winton Place. So do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll move that we close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
That's Delaney making the motion. Vader seconding it.
Yes. Any discussion on closing the hearing? Ramsey, please call the roll.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Simoletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Wasowski.
Aye.
Hearing is closed.
Okay, thank you. All right, for a conditional use permit, do we have a motion on the application?
I'll move planning board adopts a negative declaration prepared by town staff and that we approve the application based on the testimony given, plans submitted, and the 12 conditions outlined in the planning report.
Second.
Moved and seconded. David Dollinger, did you hear anything in the public testimony or the public comments that concerns you at all? That concerns the town at all?
No, I don't think so. It's one of those ones where it's really Rick, the fire marshal that's got to go through and make sure that's all, copacetic.
And they'll have to go through plan review to get a building permit also.
Right. I mean, I'm not sure that it's that different of a use that this has been used for this kind of stuff for a while now.
Yes, it has.
And the question is the way that they're doing this, does the fire marshal think that the way that they're doing this and the town as part of the permit process, think this is acceptable? I mean, above and beyond our decision, you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any further discussion amongst the board on the motion? Ramsey, please call the roll.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Simoletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Wasowski.
Aye.
Approved with conditions.
Thank you. All right, next application will be 3P03-20, David Hauer and F&H Development. This is for preliminary and final site plan approval and a conditional use permit for the addition on his property at 1338 Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll
So
move
moved.
to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
I'll
Second.
second.
Motion by Civiletti, second by Delaney.
Ramsey, please call the roll. This is to close the hearing.
Yep, sorry, a little behind.
No worries.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Sowski.
Aye.
Hearing's closed.
Thank you. Do we, now again, this is preliminary and final and a conditional use permit. Do we have a motion for this application?
I'll move, we accept the negative declaration prepared by town staff. And I move approval of preliminary and final approval based on the testimony given, plan submitted, and the 23 conditions outlined in the planning report. And I say 23 because I believe it's misnumbered if you look carefully at number 1.
Let me take a look there, David, sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Dave's correct.
Second.
Good catch. Moved and seconded. Is there any, do we just clarify who seconded? James?
James.
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? Ramsey, when you're ready, please call the roll for the vote.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Wasowski.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Next application is 4PO1-20. This is Courtney Hopkins for a new home at on Babcock. Does this have an address?
I think it's 11 Babcock, Bill. Hold on.
Yes, I'm sorry.
11 Babcock.
11 Babcock.
I move we close the public hearing.
There's that Babcock Steiner.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
It's Delaney seconding.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Ramsey, please call the roll.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Wasowski.
Aye.
Hearing closed.
Thank you. All right, again, preliminary and final site plan approval for this. Do we have a motion?
I'll move that we accept the negative declaration prepared by town staff and that we approve the application based on testimony given, plan submitted, and the 23 conditions outlined in the planning board report.
Do have a 24th condition. All trees presented to be removed shall be shown on the site plan.
Fine.
Second.
Second, thank you, Babcock.
Moved and seconded. We have a 24th condition. Ramsey, the condition of placing construction fencing for the protection of trees does include the drip line of trees that are where the trunk is not on their property, but the canopy projects over the property line.
That's an interesting question, Bill. We could do that because that's the purpose of it.
I support that.
I think with the size of that hickory, that's an important tree. We appears that we do have some trenching that's going to go on, but I think that area has pretty good soil, well-drained soil. So trenching and backfill should happen in the same day. But I would like to, if that takes a condition, I'd like to add it if we could.
Look at a condition number 9, which reads, all trees to be saved shall be protected with orange construction fencing placed at the drip line or distance greater than the drip line. Trees shall be pruned, watered, fertilized prior to and after construction. Materials and equipment storage should not be allowed in fenced areas.
That
Right.
That's the right condition. I just want to make sure it applies to even trees that are not within, where the trunk is not within the property. I mean, we could just add that to condition number 9.
The drip line off-site trees shall also be protected.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
If that's okay with David Fader.
Right.
I'm
I have
okay with that.
I have a question about construction fencing. I was unclear whether or not the applicant had intended that.
I don't think the applicant presented that they were going to fence off the property. Is that what you're asking, James?
Yes, based on the testimony in the public hearing from one of the neighbors and the concern about kids accessing the construction site.
I guess the suggestion would be, if you're concerned, that you could put a condition that the site should be fenced with orange construction fencing, just to try to give people an indication, don't come in here.
I would be comfortable adding that.
Let me just write up a condition. Orange construction fencing shall be installed along the perimeter of the site to provide ride safety. Let's see.
Just
along the perimeter of the site.
I'm
Construction fencing shall be installed along the perimeter of the site.
I'd be comfortable
say anything
saying
about
area of
safety.
disturbance.
Don't say anything about safety. I'm nervous about that.
Yeah, I know, because
That's not our job.
It's just a barrier. So I just said orange construction fencing shall be installed along the perimeter of the site.
I'd be more comfortable around the area of disturbance.
They've got to do that if they leave it, that excavation open or any excavations open. But
Correct.
Once it's, the foundation is done and backfilled, then you would just have the fencing along the property line that isn't already there to protect the trees.
The reason why I say area of disturbance is because I don't, well, forgive me, but I don't remember if this is, if it's vegetation or it's just grass.
So a lot of that shared property line with the neighbor Noel is going to get orange fencing as a result of protecting the trees. So we would just ask them to infill between the two trees or the property line between the two, so that the kids are at least alerted that, you know, they're wandering onto a construction site. But
That's all I was trying to do. That's why I wanted it around the perimeter to stay off the property.
that's all we can, you know, that's all we can say.
Okay.
So in summary, what my note shows that we modified condition number 9 to add the drip line of off-site trees shall also be protected. There's 2 additional conditions. All trees presented to be removed shall be shown on the site plan. And the last condition is orange construction fencing shall be installed along the perimeter of the site.
It looks like they can probably attach it right to the silt fence.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all I got.
all right. Any other discussion? All right, are the conditions okay? Who moved this?
I
Oh,
moved
it's,
it,
Data.
and I'm fine with them.
Okay, thank you. And whoever seconded,
In here.
you're good with those?
I'm good.
Okay. As amended, please take the roll.
Member Wentworth,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock, Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
Approved with conditions.
You asked me? I guess I said, yeah, okay.
Member Price. Just to make sure.
Aye. Okay. All right. Brings us to application 4PO2-20. Joe O'Donnell and Greater Living Architecture on behalf of Sarah D. Realty for final preliminary and final site plan approval for a 310 square foot building addition at 5 Winton Road South. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I move we close the public hearing.
I got Vader on that. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Please take the roll to close the public hearing.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock, Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
Hearing's closed.
Thank you. All right, so we have a couple of outstanding approvals. Sounds like a variance on the parking. Is that right, Ramsey?
Density and parking.
site density. Okay,
Yeah, density of the building.
okay. You consider these significant enough that we would, I mean, they're just, if they don't get it, they don't get it. Would they have to come back to us, or could we conditionally approve this?
Given that all the applications had to wait so many months, that if we were to approve it with conditions that they get their variances, it may save them a considerable amount of time or make up time that they've lost.
I would encourage that. If we can do that, I'd entertain a motion for approval, or a motion, sorry, with conditions.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I don't see a condition for variances in there currently.
Number 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, sorry.
Yeah, no, there is a condition in there. Thank you.
All right, then I'll move the planning board adopts a negative declaration prepared by town staff, and that we approve the application based on testimony given, plan submitted, and the 17 conditions in the planning board report.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Ramsey, please call the roll.
Wentworth,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Chevaletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock, Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Laura, you want to take this one over?
Sure.
Give me a second. Bill, I'm going to just shut you out for a second.
Yep.
You ready, Laura?
Yep, ready, Ramsey?
Yeah.
All right, this is application 6P0120 of Shira Cahill, SWVR agent, and the Summit at Brighton owner for a site plan modification to construct an outdoor patio and dining area on property located at 2000 Summit Circle Drive. We have a motion regarding the public hearing.
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Delaney, motion.
Second.
Wentworth, thank you, James.
Any discussion on that? Okay, Ramsey, could you call the roll?
I will. Wentworth,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Chevaletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock, Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
Public hearing's closed.
Do we have a motion regarding this application?
I'll move planning board adopts a negative declaration prepared by town staff, and that we approve the application based on testimony given, plan submitted, and the 20 conditions outlined in the planning report.
Ramsey, do you have any additional conditions?
No, I do not.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. When you're ready, Ramsey, if you can call the roll.
Member Wentworth,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Chevaletti,
Aye.
Delaney,
Aye.
Babcock, Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
We have some signs to do, folks. Jeff, if you're still with us, if you could get the sign applications up.
you want to get Bill Price?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
Nah, leave him locked out.
Yeah, let's do what we want. He's off.
Just keep them locked out and never end the meeting.
Let me get him back. There, he should be coming any second.
I heard all that.
I let you back in, Bill. I had you back.
Yeah.
Or gets a little power. She wants to keep it. Okay. Okay. The first sign that we have is sign 1580. It was approved as presented by the Architectural Review Board. If everyone's okay with it, it's for Otis. If you're okay with that, then you guys have enough information there?
Were there options here, Ramsey?
No.
Okay.
Why do we have two different views?
Yeah, what is the one existing?
The one on the right is existing.
Not that I object to either one of them. I'm just curious why there's two different versions.
Either one works. I'm fine.
Oh yeah, there's they got something at the bottom that they added in.
The one on the right is the existing one, and the one on the left is the new one.
Oh.
All right.
You're simplifying it?
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to ask that we go sign by sign. So if I could have a motion in a second to approve it as recommended.
Approve as recommended.
Approve as recommended.
That's
Okay.
Letty, who seconded?
Me.
Member Wentworth?
No,
No.
who was me?
Right.
Everybody's a wise guy.
Getting late.
Price?
Aye.
Vader?
Aye.
Civiletti?
Aye.
Laney?
Aye.
Babcock Steiner?
Aye.
Osowski?
Aye.
Did you ask me? I missed that.
I thought you said no.
You said no.
Oh, no, aye.
Oh, okay. It wasn't for me to question your vote. I didn't understand why, but I didn't want to question it. So, okay. So unanimous. It's approved.
My connection is horrid.
Okay, next sign is the sign for OFC Creations. The Architectural Review Board recommended approval with condition that the sign shall not exceed 85.5 square feet based on the building's frontage and code requirements, or variance must be obtained.
Works for me.
So if I could get a motion of someone that would want to make a motion to approve with conditions as stated.
I move to approve with conditions as stated by the ARB.
Second,
Wentworth,
correct.
Price,
Aye.
Vader,
Aye.
Civiletti,
Aye.
Laney,
Aye.
Aye.
Babcock Steiner,
Aye.
Osowski.
Aye.
Okay, this last sign, 1582, it's for Pet Supply Plus. They've been waiting months for their sign. They got caught up right when the COVID hit. So what I'm asking us to review it, give our blessing if you feel that way. And then I would ask that the ARB look at it on Tuesday at their next meeting. By doing it this way, we'd save them close to a month's time.
Ramsey, does it technically meet the size requirements?
Yes, that's my understanding it does.
Okay.
And that the condition would be the sign shall be reviewed and approved by the Architectural Review Board.
Okay.
Jason, are you the font?
think they're at 12 corners.
Do we have a,
I move approval with the condition.
I second.
who is the second? I'm sorry.
Babcock Steiner.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, Wentworth? James, you still there?
Aye.
Page, Price?
Aye.
Vader?
Aye.
Civiletti?
Aye.
Laney?
Aye.
Babcock Steiner?
Aye.
Wasowski?
Aye.
Approved with conditions. And I think that's everything.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you to anybody, all the applicants that may be listening, anybody in the general public, thank you for participating. For the board members, we do want to have a little debrief on this. If you have thoughts on how this went technically, from an IT standpoint, but also from just the process of how you typically operate versus the changes that had to be made for a virtual meeting. Kindly email those comments to Ramsey. But let's see if we can comments to make it even better next month. So, thank you, everyone, and let us know if you can't make it. You know, summer's coming, but let us know.
Everyone in July, and Jeremy, thank you for all your hard work and help.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
You're very welcome.
Very much, Jeremy. Good
Good
to
job,
with that,
guys.
Jeremy.
Well
Thank
done,
you,
Jeremy.
Thank you. And Jeff, thank you for your help too. Both you guys. Thank you.
All right, see everybody in July.
In July.
Good night.
Yeah.
Aye.
Bye now.